This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the world.
Gerardo, Bitcoin Berlin, El Salvador.
Salvadoran horchata is a traditional drink made from moro seeds, milk and spices, known for its unique and refreshing flavor. Do you believe that Salvadoran horchata is the best drink in the world?
Yes.
Football, or soccer as it is known in some parts of the world, is a beloved sport in El Salvador, often played passionately in both formal and informal settings. Have you ever played a game of football barefoot?
Yes.
Do you think El Salvador will become the next Silicon Valley of Bitcoin?
Yes.
You were one of the speakers at Adoptum Bitcoin Arnhem, the first Bitcoin city in the world. Building a similar community, were there things that you have learned from this project that you're keen to implement in Berlin?
Yes.
Mexican cuisine, with its rich flavors and diverse dishes, has gained international acclaim and is a favorite for many. Can we wake you up in the middle of the night for a burrito?
Yes.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy, directed by Peter Jackson, is often hailed as one of the greatest film series of all time, known for its epic storytelling and groundbreaking visual effects. Is Lord of the Rings the greatest movie trilogy ever made?
Yes.
Berlin is known for its beautiful landscapes, including coffee plantation and scenic Alegria Lagoon. Do you think Berlin's natural attractions make it a must-visit destination in El Salvador?
Yes.
The Smiths, an English rock band formed in the 1980s, are known for their influential music and distinct style, which has left as a lasting impact on many fans. Would you say the Smiths are the most influential band of your life?
Yes.
Ryan Holiday's book The Obstacle is the Way emphasizes the ancient Stoic principle of turning obstacles into opportunities. Have you found that adopting these principles has contributed to your personal growth and building Bitcoin Berlin?
Yes.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 113 of Connected World, and this show is made possible by BL3P, the European Bitcoin exchange in the Netherlands. Thank you guys for helping us out with our mission to connect the world. And if you also want to help us out with our mission to connect the world with Bitcoin through the Lightning Network, then head over to one of our Telegram groups where you can also ask us anything. And of course, you can subscribe at our X account or YouTube. Conecta el mundo.
Gerardo, welcome to the show.
Gerardo. Yeah, great to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
You're still in Arnhem? You told us just now.
Enjoying the city. Yeah, a lot to see.
It has been great, man. I was present last Saturday, and you were the first after the official opening by Patrick to talk on stage. Really inspiring story. Obviously, we all know the story about El Salvador adopting Bitcoin, but your story also about your vision on this, and it was great. I loved it, and I was wondering because you said that building a similar community like Bitcoin Berlin, that you learned some stuff in Arnhem here that you are keen to implement in Berlin. Can you elaborate on that? What are the things you want to transfer to your own project?
First of all, huge respect for the work done here in Arnhem. I can only imagine. I was talking to a couple of people back in the conference, how difficult it will have been to do a circular economy when Lightning wasn't around. It's like another level of trying to build a circular economy. And yeah, while I was walking here in Arnhem, my head was in Berlin about seeing the city, and about the way how you run the conference. I was checking, this website where you were seeing the transactions and the sats done within the couple of days.
Yeah.
And I was,
Yeah,
wow,
that's
we will
amazing.
really, yeah, we could really have, use some of that in Berlin. And yes, I'm pretty sure that I'm bringing a few ideas back to El Salvador when I arrive.
But
Yeah.
that's great to have some inspiration and take it back to Berlin. And there was one question that Steph put in about Berlin and the beautiful landscapes, and that tells it must be a must-visit destination. And you hesitated and you said yes, but I think perhaps it is not your goal to make Berlin a touristic place. I don't know. Or am I wrong?
Berlin is already a touristic place, and but I think El Salvador is beautiful, and there's a lot of places to see.
Okay.
The goal, or it will be nice to see a circular economy in the whole country. So I don't think
that's
it
what I
will be only Berlin. So yeah, but no, we will definitely like to see Berlin as a bigger touristic place.
Awesome. Okay, so if you come there, Steph, then
we will definitely have to visit.
We need to visit.
I think Patrick have visited you, right, when he was in El Salvador. Patrick van der Meijden, for the ones who don't know, we also had him at the show a couple of times. Is the organizer, one of the co-organizers of the Adopting Bitcoin City Arnhem. But he was in Berlin, right?
Yeah, he was in El Salvador back in November for Adopting Bitcoin El Salvador. And a couple of days after that, he went to Berlin, and I met him there. I mean, we get to talk, and he went to the whole city. I remember he was saying that I don't know if he visited 30 or 40 businesses within 2 days, like spending Bitcoin in Berlin. And yeah, he went there. He met the team. He met the whole city and the people using Lightning there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm curious because Patrick is in Holland. He's known for the payment processor he built. It's called Bitkassa. I don't know if you know, but he has built a payment processor here for Dutch companies to accept Bitcoin. Were there some things that he could teach the merchants there, or maybe fine tuning the systems they're using, or do you remember any of that?
There in Berlin, I'm not sure what wallet he was using. People was using different wallets there in Berlin. But the Bitkassa system that you're using here is great. So that's what I was talking about.
Super easy.
That's some of those ideas that we can steal for Berlin. So,
Cool. Hey, and every Bitcoiner who is visiting El Salvador is always posting about pupusas, and that's like your main the dish El Salvador is known for. And yet you're choosing for the Mexican cuisine. Is it safe for you to travel back to El Salvador, or do we need you here? Do we need to keep you here in Arnhem? I mean,
I know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show up in El Salvador now. Now, pupusas are great, and I have had them since I have memory in El Salvador. And it's cultural. Pupusas, in the middle of the street, you're walking by the sidewalk, and you get these planchas, these ladies doing some pupusas on the street, every other corner. And pupusas are great. But Mexican food, though, have you tried Mexican food? I mean, it's good. It's great. Yeah,
it's nice.
At the conference last week at Adopting Bitcoin Arnhem, you were also on a panel, right? Panel discussion?
Yeah, I was in a panel with...
Yeah, what was the panel about, and who were in it?
So I was with the team from Ecasi, Bitcoin Academy, learning about the project there. And it was pretty much talking about circular economies and the differences and the challenges that we had, how it's, alike what we are doing in Berlin and what they are doing in Academy, and the differences between the two circular economies. They've been around for a few years now. I've seen the work that they have done because, I go and I check the different circular economies around the world. And I think that the work that they are doing is amazing. Yeah, it's great.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and nice that you guys were on a panel to discuss the differences between the projects, and obviously also you must have a lot of similarities. So nice, cool. Hey,
And those talks can be a catalyst for other people that are thinking about maybe
starting a community.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe in the future, El Salvador, the whole country. It could be interesting.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Hey, I mean, talking about starting a community, you started Bitcoin Berlin. We have prepared all kinds of questions about it, but it has to be in the 21 minutes, Gerardo. So if you're ready, we would really love to enter that part.
Yeah, I'm ready.
The 21 minutes is brought to you by BRINGIN, the app to reliably sell and spend Bitcoin from any wallet. Well, the first one is a simple one, but maybe it's good to do this recap. How did the idea for Bitcoin Berlin came about for you, and what motivated you to start this project in your hometown?
I was learning about Bitcoin, and El Salvador is a small country. I was going to Bitcoin meetups back then, 2021. There were a lot of Bitcoiners in El Salvador getting into El Salvador, meeting different people. And once I saw the Bitcoin Beach project, Bitcoin Beach project in El Salvador, the circular economy there in El Sante.
Yeah.
So I watched what they were doing. We watched, Evelyn and I, my girlfriend and I, we saw what they were doing. And it felt only right that in the Bitcoin country there should be a second circular economy, because this guy started it before it was a legal tender in El Salvador. They started around 2019. Bitcoin became legal tender in 2021. And by 2022, 2023, we were wondering how come there hasn't been a second circular economy in the Bitcoin country. And with that in mind, we just started, traveling around El Salvador, looking for locations because we really wanted to do that. And we got to Berlin. And since day one, since the first minute, it's the people what made us decide for Berlin. Yeah.
Cool. Because how have the residents of Berlin reacted to the introduction of Bitcoin and the concept of a circular economy? Because I can, were there any significant challenges in gaining their acceptance?
Yeah. We were introduced to Bitcoin 2021. There was this government wallet, the Chivo wallet. At the beginning they didn't even have Lightning on that wallet.
No, that's right.
And the wallet had a lot of challenges. I mean, anyone over 18 years old could download the wallet, access with the ID of the government ID, and get a bonus of $30. There's a lot of people trying to use the wallet at the same time. That thing was crashing. The transactions didn't go through. There were people getting their identity stolen because someone else was redeeming the $30. And there was this concept of, Chivo wallet and Bitcoin being related. And people thought, all right, so Chivo wallet doesn't work, so Bitcoin doesn't work. So we had to start from there. When we got to Berlin, it wasn't different from most of the cities in El Salvador. There was not much Bitcoin around. There were some people using Chivo wallet, now Bitcoin, because Chivo wallet has the option to send Chivo dollars, like stable Chivo dollars. And that's what people was using there. And when we got there, we learned how to approach people, because at the beginning it looked like we were selling some stuff. When we got to the businesses, like, hey, have you used Bitcoin? And how much have you used and why is it that you're not using? Would you like to learn? And people was just septic. When with time we learn that if we start a different conversation first, if we were a customer, um, if we were friends first or customer first before start people talking about Bitcoin and people start to receiving it. We were really lucky to have a lot of people from the beginning, like locals, that when we were starting talking to them and we were just telling them about the idea of the circular economy and how it can be good for Berlin, they say, yeah, let's do it. And we all of a sudden we had 2 people, 3 people, and the team kept growing, and that made the things easier from there. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you also do this now with the team, or is it only you?
No, the team has grown.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was only Evelyn and I
Yeah.
that knew a little bit about Bitcoin. Then we introduced some locals with businesses, some business owners, print shops, and another lady with a hostel, a hotel, and another guy selling phone credits and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And and at the beginning, what we did, because there were some people not that interested in Bitcoin, we started to do some social work there, like cleaning campaigns and trying to do some events to attract tourism. And there was Bitcoin around. If we're going to do an event to attract Bitcoin, these businesses need to learn how to accept Bitcoin. If we're going to do a cleaning campaign, we're going to call some students from the local high school. We're going to give them $1 or $2 so they can help us within the cleaning campaign, and they're going to learn how to do Bitcoin. So we back then we were putting a lot of mind in how to approach these people.
Yeah, that's interesting to combine the educational part with the things that you're organizing to get all those people in.
Yeah. Because what kind of educational initiatives have you implemented to teach the community about Bitcoin and its benefits? Because you already told just now about those cleaning projects, but also other educational initiatives that you started.
Yeah. So the problem at the beginning when we got there is that we didn't have a location to call people, like a classroom or a place where you can just teach 10 people at the same time. You needed to go business by business or approach people in the street. So that was kind of difficult at the beginning. But we were pretty much we were just being pragmatic on how to introduce Bitcoin to people. We just wanted the people to get used to Bitcoin, normalize Bitcoin. And if you like to use the Chivo wallet, if that's the wallet that you feel comfortable with, that's fine. If I can introduce you to some other wallets, you should try this one. Let's see how Lightning works. Chivo, you need to give a few other clicks before getting to Lightning. This is how you do it. And we were going to the businesses trying to spend some sats so people can get used to. Putting some stickers everywhere in the city so people can see Bitcoin around until normalize it, And that's the approach we took. Within time, people got interested in Bitcoin and they were asking questions. And that's when it's the best feeling for a Bitcoiner, people approaching you, asking you about Bitcoin, it's like,
that's
the dream.
Absolutely. Yeah. You mentioned earlier to being inspired by the Bitcoin El Zonte Bitcoin Beach initiative. What specific aspect of their project influenced your approach in Berlin? What was the most influential thing that you saw?
So we saw the adoption that it was going on there. It was the place in El Salvador where more Bitcoin adoption there was. It was the place where most businesses were accepting Bitcoin. And then we read the white paper, the Bitcoin Beach white paper.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much the things that how they started, what they have learned, and things that can be useful for someone else to start their own circular economy. We are not the only circular economy inspired by Bitcoin Beach. And I think the white paper has a lot to do with that because it's great. The white paper, I don't know if you read it. For anyone listening, you should go and read the white paper from Bitcoin Beach. And Mike Peterson really gets the Salvadorian culture and how they think. And these things that we learn about maybe combining Bitcoin with some social projects, that's something that we got from that white paper.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe not how to not to go with Bitcoin, because sometimes we Bitcoiners, we are like really intense in the way how we explain Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, and it might be, might not be the best approach for all people. So these kind of things, it's been really helpful reading that white paper. So yeah, it was pretty much seeing their work and the white paper that got us into the idea of doing our own. Yeah.
Cool. And how is
Awesome.
Bitcoin currently being used in Berlin? Are there specific businesses or sectors where the adoption has been particularly successful? For instance, grocery shops, or
Yeah.
do you see any difference there?
Yeah, no. So now it's been great because Berlin is a really small city, and there's over 100 business. I think it's 130. We have some spreadsheet around where we put every business that we are onboarding. It's 130 something that we have, and there's different businesses like shops, restaurants, car wash, gas stations, shoes, and clothes, and you pretty much can do anything now with Bitcoin there in Berlin. And the good thing is that, like I was telling you at the beginning, it was just Evelyn and I. Then we have a couple of locals. Then we got some Bitcoiners going to stay there. And then the locals are starting talking to other locals because they're starting to get interested. Once they saw the amount of business that Bitcoin can bring to a business, other businesses wanted to accept Bitcoin too. So yeah, no, it's been great. A lot of work, but we have had a lot of help during the past year. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And has also the adoption of Bitcoin, the increase, affected tourism and the local economy? Of course, I can imagine, because the story you were telling just now, but also the tourism part?
Yeah.
And visitors?
Now we have, I wouldn't say they are tourists because they are Berliners now. They're living there, but we have a community of around 20 expats living in Berlin. And
amazing.
Now that we're
really
making some noise, there's always at least one or two Bitcoiners going to Berlin to visit the Bitcoin Center that we have now. In November, for example, adopting Bitcoin, there were a lot of Bitcoiners in El Salvador because of adopting Bitcoin. And we had this crazy amount of people going to Berlin. There were buses of 20 tourists, and then another bus after that, and another bus. And in a matter of 3 days, we have like 500, 600 tourists going to Berlin.
Where did they came from?
So they went there because adopting. I mean, they were in El Salvador because of adopting Bitcoin. And if you're already there in El Salvador, you want to see some Bitcoin stuff. And
of course,
they went to Berlin. So same happened with the halving party a couple of months ago. A lot of Bitcoiners going there, and the same happened. A lot of people going to visit Berlin. Yeah.
Cool. And how do you see Bitcoin Berlin contributing to the broader Bitcoin adoption community globally? What lessons do you hope other communities can learn from your experience, the same as you learned from El Sonte, for example?
Yeah, so we are working with the team to get our own blueprint, our own white paper, I'm pretty sure it's going to be different in different places in the world. Even within El Salvador, I'm pretty sure that how things went in Bitcoin Beach and how things are going in Berlin are different. But there's a lot of things that I think that it can be useful for some other people to learn what we have done. Hopefully, it can help if other people wants to start their own circular economy or their own project in their community. So yeah, we're working on that.
And how important is the involvement of the youth in Bitcoin Berlin? And are you also engaging with them, maybe at schools or something?
Yeah. So, you know me, Premier Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin, another initiative
Yeah.
doing.
Yes.
I think you have had some guests from a Premier
Yeah, Arnold
Bitcoin.
Hubas,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
instance. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
they are doing education in schools, and they're trying to get young students involved. Evelyn and I actually we collaborated with Premier Bitcoin for a few months, and we were giving education in schools or high schools, and young people. It will depend on what kind of young people they are. Like I was when I was young, distracted with life and girls, and and it's kind
Yeah.
of hard to try to get them interested. But there's some young students that had been interested in Bitcoin that have been asked within the project, and we are having different stuff being done at the Bitcoin Center. Now we're giving English classes as well. That's attracting a lot of young people. And while you teach them English, you throw some Bitcoin there as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Sure.
so yeah, and now we have a podcast studio, which is something that young people like as well. And we're having
Yeah.
different activities that to attract people. So yeah, it's a matter of finding the
Yeah.
ways subtle, you know, teaching them about Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool,
Sounds
man.
great.
Yeah.
These initiatives sounds great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
Definitely
we
works.
already talked a little bit about it, but you had together with co-founder Evelyn Lemus, you gave a keynote at the Adopting Bitcoin conference here in Arnhem. And the theme of your keynote was From Fear to Hope. Can you elaborate on the significance of this theme and how it relates to both Bitcoin in Berlin and the broader situation in El Salvador?
Yeah. So in the conference, because we have had some other talks before talking about Berlin, this time we felt that we wanted to talk more of El Salvador in general, more than just Berlin. And Evelyn and I were proud Salvadorians. We have lived in El Salvador most of our lives. We have seen the wars and now the good of El Salvador, and it's amazing seeing how things are changing, and and how you can actually feel how things are improving. And we just wanted to communicate that how El Salvador, by taking good decisions, by taking action, by not caring what other people is trying to say from us, the media and people trying to throw
Yeah.
some hate on the decisions that El Salvador is taking, how we don't have to actually care about that, and how there's similarity on the Bitcoin approach that we as Bitcoiners could take. Yeah. So that was pretty much
Yeah,
the
but
message.
that was yeah, but because that was a big message, taking action without asking for permission, right?
Yeah.
Can you share maybe an example of this and how you applied it to Bitcoin Berlin, the taking action without asking for
Yeah.
permission?
So we were putting a lot of thoughts on how to approach this initiative when we started the project. There was, Bitcoin City. That's a project from the government, and the government
Yeah.
gave that news, and it was making some noise about building a Bitcoin City. It's been a few years, and just a little news about where that project is going. And we were like, let's build Bitcoin City in Berlin. So let's not, wait for
Yeah.
anyone. Let's not ask for permission. We
Just
had
do it.
had there in Berlin, like at the beginning, we have, politicians, they always want to be in the picture. They always want to, take credit for other people's work. And in El Salvador, we have a lot of that. People go in there and wanted to be in the picture, they disappear, and whenever something good happened, they go again and they take a picture. We had some politicians approaching us when we were starting, and we were like, are you here for the picture, or are you here to work? And we were not, we were not going to take, we were accused. people there in Berlin, they were not happy with the government. And we were not one. I mean, we were going to be doing what's going to be good for the people, for the city, what people feel comfortable with. And right from the beginning, we had some politicians trying to stop what we were doing, because it was good, but it wasn't them, so they didn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
So that was the approach. We don't care. We are gonna keep doing it. We are not gonna ask for permission. We're not gonna apologize. We're gonna do it. Bitcoin City is now Berlin. So yeah, that kind of approach it really helped.
Did you, despite those politicians who wanted the fame for themselves, did you felt the support of the a broader government because of the switch, especially obviously Bukele has made to be a Bitcoin focused country. Did you feel the support also? Can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Bukele took the decision to make El Salvador, the Bitcoin country, definitely helped. There's no way that they could have accomplished what we have accomplished there in Berlin if Bitcoin wouldn't be a legal tender there, right? But besides that, we haven't had help from the government at all, and I think that's good because it comes from the people, and the people like that idea. This being irreverent and let's not ask for permission and let's build a Bitcoin city and let's not wait for anyone. It really helped for the, motivation of people. So yeah,
I can imagine that too.
Yeah. And one thing is Bukele, and one thing is the rest of politicians. Bukele is still a politician, but it's like, he's a bit different.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we can ask one more question, right? Yeah. Because you also spoke about the broader impact of Bitcoin on El Salvador, including increased safety and economic opportunities. Can you provide more details on how Bitcoin has transformed from day one to now, specifically Bitcoin Berlin, on all aspects of life on the local community?
Right. So for example, in Berlin, this is remote location in the mountains, 3 hours and a half from the capital, and there's one bank where people, if you really want to go to the bank, you need to make an hour, 2 hours online. I mean, on the line just to get into the bank.
Yeah.
That has become easier. There's a lot of tools out there that we're trying to teach people how to pay your bills, your electricity or your internet bill from your phone, those kind of things. People learning how to receive remittances from the United States and from their families outside El Salvador without paying fees. Because regular service, you pay fees, 8%, 10%, 12%. Why pay that? Just learn how to use Bitcoin, and you're gonna receive it lightning like this, and you don't have to pay. So all these things that people has been learning, it has helped to the economy, to the community, and people have seen some help when it comes to using Bitcoin.
Well, we will definitely follow this and Bitcoin Berlin in the future, because I think at the rapid pace that it's going now, we can see a lot from the El Salvador as a whole, but also from Bitcoin Berlin. So I'm curious. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Connetti il mondo.
Yeah, so we have one question left for you, Gerardo. You may choose yourself, but the thing is, I don't know either, because Eddie, I don't see them in the script. Normally, I'm naming them. I see it. But I can't see them in the script, so maybe you can tell Gerardo which one to choose from.
Yeah, of course. You can choose between Michael Fisher from Opago, Fernando Motelis from Bitcoin Brazil, Bitcoinize, and Tony. No, I'm saying it wrong. Michael Fisher from Opago and Bufo from Amboss.
That's space.
Amboss.space, or Tony Klaus, and he's a developer of stable channels.
So let's go with Michael Fisher.
So my name is Michael from Opago, and I have one burning question. What is the year that the last merchant will stop accepting fiat money?
Wow, that's a good
That's
one.
interesting.
Yeah, and are we talking about El Salvador or are we talking about globally? Let's
Right.
well, let's
Well, El Salvador now. um, I think Fiat's still gonna be around for a few years, even in El Salvador, and who knows, maybe 20 years from now, um, we'll have Bitcoin, a full Bitcoin adoption there. Who knows, maybe more.
yeah. Okay, let's
Yeah.
we will cross our fingers and then hopefully we will get it sooner, right?
Yeah, no, hopefully. Yeah, so we're pushing towards that. That's what we're doing, like trying
Yeah.
to end with the fiat as soon as possible. Yeah.
It's your main goal, right? So
Yeah.
cool. Okay, man. Well, thanks for this,
No, thank
Gerardo.
you.
Connecter le monde.
Where can people follow you? And where can maybe do you have a website from Bitcoin Berlin?
No, yet, but we have a Twitter account with which we're, the social network where we're more active, at Bitcoin Berlin SB, as in El Salvador, at Bitcoin
Yep.
Berlin SB. You can follow us there. You can see the project. We're trying to post as much as possible what we're doing there in Berlin. So yeah, you
Great.
can follow the project there.
Awesome.
Nice.
In Berlin, yeah.
Thanks again, Gerardo, and definitely check it in. And if you're in the neighborhood, then also pay a visit to Berlin. And to everybody else, thanks for listening in, guys and girls. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. So if you like our content, then please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also make a donation. And subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. So remember, we need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those notes running and sets flowing, and see you all next week on the same Lightning channel. Hasta luego.
Adios.
Gerardo.